Bye, Grandma. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, Maddie. I love you. Be good. Love you too. I heard the door slam. Yes, the house was all to myself. Grandma had to get food before the big blizzard hit our little cabin in the mountains. I looked out the window. It was snowing, and the mountains were white like marshmallows in the sky. The cabin was warm and cozy. I decided to sit down with my grandma's cat, Brady. He curled up with me by the fire, and we read a book together. That's when I remembered my parents were stuck in France, because it was snowing like crazy there. They couldn't get home because the plane couldn't fly through the snow. I missed them so much. I went upstairs to call my mom. I told her that I missed her so much and I hope that she can come home soon. A few hours passed and I waited for Grandma. Where was she? Maybe I should call her, I thought. I tried to call her, but she didn't pick up. Grandma's house wasn't warm and cozy anymore. Now it seemed big and isolated. Grandma was very nice and joyful, but then when Grandpa died, she didn't go out much. Both of my parents were big business company owners. I stayed with Grandma most of the time, since Mom and Dad were always traveling around the world. I've always wanted a younger sibling to keep me company when they were away, but Mom and Dad didn't have time to handle another kid. It was 7 o'clock, and Grandma still wasn't home. She left at 3 o'clock. That's when I started to worry. She only was going out to get groceries. So I turned on the TV and put on the news. Then I saw it. An old lady got hit by a car and she wasn't moving, and the ambulance was there. I tried to call Grandma again, but she didn't answer. Maybe that wasn't my grandma, I thought. Maybe Grandma just didn't pick up her phone. But something inside me said to call the police for help. I tried to call the police, but the phone wasn't working. Now what should I do? I asked myself. A few days passed and Grandma still didn't come home. I sat by the fireplace and looked at a scrapbook that Grandma and I made. I remember when she used to let me come over and we would work on this for hours and hours. It had all the memories of Grandma and I. Brady came over and put his paw on Grandma's picture when she taught me how to knit. I told Brady that everything was going to be okay and Grandma would come home. I cuddled with him and then started crying. Brady knew I was sad and he started to purr. I wondered if Mom and Dad would ever come home. Finally, it was Christmas Eve. I couldn't tell my parents that Grandma still wasn't home because none of the phones were working, because there was no power from the blizzard. I was so scared and I didn't know what to do. I woke up the next day on Christmas morning. I ran down the stairs as fast as I could so I could see all the presents under the tree. I shouted for my mom and dad to come down. That's when I remembered no one was here. But then, suddenly, I heard a knock on the door. At first, I wondered why someone would be in the middle of a blizzard in the mountains. But then I heard someone say, "Maddie, open the door. We're home." It sounded like my mom. I ran to the door and threw it open as fast as I could. I was speechless, and all I could do was hug them. I was so happy they were home. My dad asked where Grandma was. They looked at me and realized I was crying. I told them what happened. My mom ran to the phone to try to call the police. I told her that the power was out, but suddenly all the lights went on. She called the police and told them what happened. The police told her that my grandma was the one that was on the news. The snow was so bad that they couldn't even find where our cabin was. She was gone. I couldn't believe it. I loved her so much. We were so sad about what happened to her. My mom and dad had no one to take care of me now. I thought they were going to have to send me off to an orphanage, but they said they would never do that, and they are going to take a few weeks off just to be with me. My dad was on call the whole day. He was talking with the insurance company for Grandma's belongings. I spent the whole day with Mom, and we were really sad. Mom? Yes, Maddie? What's going to happen now? My eyes started to water and I was about to cry. We will always remember Grandma in our hearts. I started crying and I hugged my mom and told her about how much I missed her. She hugged me and told me that I was very brave that I stayed in the house all alone. I was so happy they came home and we were together. One of my Christmas wishes came true, that I was with my family. The end.